That amazed me when she made that comment to me. What does that tell you? That tells you that people are really, really fed up. Accountability, responsible, and accountable government. That's my particular platform, responsible and accountable government. As I mentioned in the last get-together, people have said to me, well, what experience do you have to be a county commissioner? Why would you want to be? Now, I have been a county commissioner, so I can say I have that experience. But is Kim Laurie here? Kim, are you here? There's Kim over there. Oftentimes people will say to Kim, well, Kim, you don't have any experience. Why do you think you can be a commissioner? And as I've said in a commissioner meeting, I said in a commissioner meeting this morning, and I'm going to relate an experience to you in that commissioner meeting, which makes my point. But if you go to meetings, how many of you go to meetings? Your trustee meetings, your commissioner meetings, your city council meetings. If you're not going, I'm not seeing a lot of hands raised up, you need to go. You need to see the elected officials that are representing you and what they think. It does not take a lot of experience to know that spending $165,000 on card readers for transit buses that only carry one person an hour is wrong. It doesn't take a lot of experience to know that spending $355,000 to buy an easement to steal the rights, property rights from people is wrong. It doesn't take a lot of experience to know most of the things that our elected officials are deciding are common sense things. It is ethical, honest, open kinds of things that anybody in this room would have the experience and the knowledge to be able to decide upon. I went to an NUCC meeting, their board meeting, last week. There were about 40 people sitting around the table, 3 of whom were elected. The rest were unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats. The Cleveland History Museum was there representing you. The Archdiocese of Cleveland was there representing you. The Regional Prosperity Initiative was there representing you. You don't choose them, you don't elect them, they're making your decision for you. They decided on their findings. Go figure. They decided that a regional approach to Northeastern Ohio was the right thing to do. 3 elected officials were sitting at the counter, about 3, and they didn't say anything. They went along with that vote. That vote will be taken to the 44 elected officials that represent Lake County, Dan Troy, Mary Samiti, who happens to be the board, other elected officials. They will vote yes. Because they always vote yes. Because they never question. That is the reason that I'm running for county commissioner. Anybody who knows me knows that I question. I ask questions of the bureaucracy, and they do not like to be questioned. Because the minute you start questioning them, you start uncovering things. I'm going to ask you to vote for Kim Laurie, because she is one of the smartest people I know. She's energetic, she's bright, and she has common sense. You need to elect her in Lake County. And that's not about me, but it is about me. This is Northeastern Ohio, and if we're going to take this country back, Tom Zalskowski, how many people know Tom Zalskowski, Portage County Tea Party? Okay? He made a statement that this is the second revolution, and I agree with him 100%. In the first revolution, we overthrew a tyrant, a king. We have a new set of kings. And they don't want to listen to you. And in order for us to take the country back, we need to have a revolution of a sorts. Not a shooting revolution, but a political revolution. But that revolution requires soldiers in the fight. It requires people like you. If you don't show up, if we don't have the boots on the street helping Kim Laurie to get elected to beat Dan Troy, how many of you know Dan Troy? You need to go to a NOACA meeting. The 14th of this month in downtown Cleveland, there's going to be a NOACA meeting. You'll see Dan Troy in action. Go to a county commissioner meeting and watch Dan Troy in action. He is doing more harm to liberty in Northeastern Ohio than anybody that I know. And Kim is running against him. Now you would think that I'm campaigning for Kim. I'm not. but I'm campaigning for all of us in Northeastern Ohio. You need to vote for Matt Lynch, and he's going to get up here and he's going to talk about all the great things he's going to do for us in Washington, D.C. You need to vote for him. It is the only way we can take this country back. How many people are from Geauga County in here? If you're from Geauga County, I'm going to ask you to vote for me. Because I'm one of those people who will stand up. I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to do what I think. We may disagree. That's okay. But at least you know what you got if you happen to get me, if I happen to be elected in that seat. Today I was at the county commissioner meeting. At the last county commissioner meeting, I received approval, because I'm an alternate on the NOACA board, for Ralph Spitaleri. The current set of NOACA bylaws, policies, I was in a policy committee, I sit in the policy committee. Those set of bylaws are a rubber stamp to NEOCC's agenda. It has never been approved until the other day, it was finally approved. Even though it had never been voted on in the NOACA board, NOACA has it in their policy statements. Every policy statement says they will implement the NEOCC policies lock, stock, and barrel. In those, and I have a copy with me, anyone who wants to see the policy statements, I will show it to you. In those policy statements, it says that we will do cost sharing. That's us sharing our revenue with others. In those policy statements, it says we're going to use social justice as a criteria to determine which roads need to be fixed. Those policy statements are an attack on our liberty. If you see what NEOCC is about to do, they are about to dramatically transform and alter Northeastern Ohio. The regional director of HUD stood up after the board meeting and made a slip of the tongue, which is her true feelings. And she said, "It is about time we've taken control over Northeastern Ohio. Now that we've done that, we can move on." That is what NOACA wants to build into those bylaws. Mary Samee is the president of the board. She's a county commissioner in Geauga County. That's who I'm running against. She has never said publicly she opposes what they're doing. She voted to fund NEOCC. Last commissioner meeting, the commissioners told me that I could have a presentation at the board and that we would pass a resolution because they opposed NEOCC. The 14th is the next executive meeting and the last opportunity we will have before it goes to the full board to vote that down. I raised my hand today and said, when am I going to have that chance to come in and do the meeting? Well, Mary said, and I'm quoting, "Well, we've already decided." I said, "Mary, are you speaking for the board? Have we already decided?" Because I wasn't here. I didn't hear it in an open public meeting. The video of today's meeting is online at auburn.com. You'll be able to see exactly what was said. There was a lot of gnashing of teeth and discussion. And finally, she capitulated to the other commissioners, and Ralph Spitaleri was the only board member, other commissioner that stood up and said, "I don't think I like this NEOCC thing, and I think we need to push back on it." At the end of the day, she had to capitulate, and we're supposed to have a meeting now next week. Accountability. One of the things that I expect our elected officials to do is when you see something that is putting our citizens at risk, it may be contrary to your best interest. You may not get elected because you have to raise your hand and create a stir. But if it's to the contrary, the best interest of the citizens that you represent, it is your obligation to stand up and say, "This is wrong." And that's what I do about NEOCC. And anybody in this room knows that I have no compunction about standing up and saying that this is wrong. And it will be bad for the people in the Northeastern Ohio. Accountability, responsibility. That accountability comes down to doing those things that aren't in your best interest necessarily, but are in the best interest of the people that you represent. Even though you may make some enemies in the process of standing up, because everybody's not going to agree with you. About 50% of the people agree with you most of the time. The other 50% are going to disagree with you. Such is life. So, I'm running for this seat as county commissioner in Geauga County, but I can tell you this, and this is going to be my closing statement. I think I run out of my 5 minutes. If I'm successful at running against, and I will ask everybody who's here,